Hey guys, this afternoon we got some good positional sparring with my boys, Alan, Eric, and Kawai. The first position we practiced was the mount. In the beginning, Kawai secures a head grip. He does a good job of blocking my knee from coming in by securing a pant grip. I try to use my hand to shove his foot into my half guard, but he does a good job of tucking his foot. I try to hook his leg with my other foot, but he counters by locking his feet. I try reaching down to get my half, but this sets me up for a quick triangle. Yikes. I try to extend my body to mitigate the triangle attack. Eventually I roll to my side and find the angle on the deep half and finish in a double under. Next we have Alan on the bottom and Eric on top. Alan tries to attack Eric's post, but Eric does a good job of rebasing. Eric does a good job of sliding to tech mount when Alan turns to his side. Alan tries to push Eric's leg into a half guard, but Eric does a good job of keeping his leg free and transitioning off to tech mount on the other side. Eventually Alan collects his leg, finds a deep half angle, works his hook, and works out to a reset. Next we have me attacking Eric. He starts by trying to tie up my post and off balancing me. He did a good job of keeping me high to give him space to bring his knees in. Alan starts by securing a head grip. Kawai works his hands inside and he posts on the armpits to bring his legs inside as he inverts, giving him space to come out the back. Neon Bailey! Kawai secures a skirt grip and has a hand on my knee as I try to secure the Neon Belly position. He works his top leg inside to start framing my shoulder, using his other hand to frame my shoulder as well, eventually bringing his bottom leg in and coming up on a sweep. We begin the round with Alan securing a grip on Eric's collar, going for a baseball choke. He transitions to north-south, but Eric turtles to defend. Alan transitions to counter his turtle. Eric's looking for a roll, tries to get back to his guard, but Alan stays away. Alan tries to secure the side, but Eric's bringing his legs in, doing a good job of formulating a guard. Eventually he can bring both legs in using his hands as frames, coming up to sit-up guard. Next we have Kawai and Alan. Kawai does a good job of following Alan as he tries to rotate and escape. Notice the grips Kawai uses, one hand on the collar and one on the leg, to further mitigate the movement as he tries to slide the leg across. Here we can see Kawai hitting a nice neon belly switch transition to the other side. Alan reaches his arm up, so Kawai weaves both arms through and sits back on an armbar. Alan works to trap Kawai's bottom leg, but Kawai brings it out as he looks for angles on the armbar. When doing an armbar, the leg over the face is an important detail to keeping your opponent's back on the mat. Eventually, Kawai leans to the side, breaking Alan's grip, getting the arm lock. The next position we will be working is the turtle. I start by securing a hip grip to stay tight to his waist. He reaches back and grabs my knee. He's trapping my far knee, so I try to half Nelson him to try to flatten him out. But I wasn't too sure which game to play, so I just tried to stay heavy. I work a cross face, but he scoops my leg and secures a skirt grip on me. This is a better angle of the trap he had on my far knee. Eventually he off balances me, working his bottom knee in, starting to use his hand as a frame, then works his top leg inside, then off balances me to knock me back. Kawai starts with a collar and pant grip. Kawai rides Eric's movements, making sure to stay tight to his body. Eric posts his foot on the ground, but Kawai counters that by hooking it. Eric proceeds to roll, but Kawai stuffs him halfway, forcing a stack. Eric works his way back to turtle, but Kawai is strong on the control with both his grips. Kawai decides to center up with Eric, making sure to stay tight and keeping the pressure on him. Eric decides to reach back and shoot his arm through to control Kawai's arm, but this sets him up for a quick armbar transition. Kawai sets the armbar by placing his hand, standing tall, and swinging his leg around, falling back. Eric starts by playing his turtle a little loose so Alan has space to start moving. Off the bat, he hits a sit out, trying to hip out, breaking the grips. Eric hits a nice mat return as Alan still tries to hip out, trying to break the grip. He looks for angles, trying to hit a switch, but Eric stays tight to his back, tries to go for the back. Alan spins and reverses the position, goes for a double, but Eric has his head. Eric does a good job of coming back to his feet with a head and arm grip. Eric uses his control to go behind, but Alan counters by circling and hits an outside trip. Here's this sequence once again in slow-mo. The next position is the back. In the beginning, Alan slides up, trying to relieve pressure from the choking arm and finding an angle to slide out. Next, he does a good job of fighting the hands, preventing any attacks. Eventually, I work to gain control of the wrist, giving me an opportunity to feed the collar. Alan tries to roll to the other side to beat the hooks, but I do a good job of switching them. One trick to gaining the top hook if your opponent is being difficult is by locking your ankles, creating tension on their hips, extending them out, placing your hook. I try to trap Alan's arm with my leg, but he finds an angle to start turning into my guard, so I quickly jump around the back, trying to resecure the back position. One thing I do to make it easier when coming up is kicking my foot down to create some momentum, then grabbing around the waist, pulling myself up. Alan does a good job of blocking my hook, so I use the technique to open him up and place my hook in, locking up a figure 4. My figure 4 was weak though, so Alan had the ability to use his hips. Alan does a good job of tying up my hand, using his top leg to block the hook and hopping over the bottom hook. This was the last round in our training session.
That's okay. So how was that? Feeling good? No?
No. Disappointed.
How's that?
Pretty smoked.
Yeah, you smoked.
Good times, good times.
Whee!